this video, I'm going to look at what a tax-efficient investment looks like in the Australian tax system and how you can compare your investment choices with tax in mind. To keep it simple and easy to compare, I won't be covering common tax strategies like negative gearing or investing in the lowest income spouse's name or using different tax structures like superannuation funds or family trusts. Instead, I'm going to focus on just one consistent tax rate of 34.5%, including Medicare levy. Is it more tax efficient to focus on shares that pay dividends each year? Or is it better to invest in high growth investments that pay fewer dividends? For this next comparison, I'll be comparing a popular global stock ETF called IVV, which rarely distributes franking credits. I will compare this again with VAS, which has a high amount of income paid out with franking credits. So is receiving a return in investment from capital growth more tax efficient than receiving annual income? To compare, I'll be looking at an investment time frame of 10 years to allow capital growth to occur. If I invested $10,000 in IVV on 1 January 2014, I would have bought 48 shares at $207.10 per share, with a total cost of $9,940. If I sold the investment in IVV on 1 January 2024, I would have received back $32,004 using this share site performance report. During that time, IVV would have paid $3,964 of trust distributions to me with no franking credits. Now, if I purchased $10,000 of VAS on 1 January 2014, I would have received 145 shares at $68.70 per share for a total outlay of $9,940. If I sold VAS on 1 January 2024, I would have received back $13,030. During that period, I would have also received $6,664 in trust distributions that were 24% franked. Now, if we compare IVV with VAS side by side, we can clearly see that IVV performed exceptionally well with a 211% return on investment versus 86% for VAS. IVV's outperformance is mostly due to the underlying investments performing very well in this period, whereas Australian shares held within VAS were not as lucky, although they did still perform quite well. However, if we take a closer look, we can still see which is more tax efficient by looking at the effective tax rate as a percentage of the actual return on investment. Okay, here we can see that IVV has a total return on investment before tax of $25,713, which is for both dividends and capital gains. The total tax paid over 10 years was $4,639. If we divide the $4,639 by $25,713, the effective tax rate was 18%. Considering the constant tax rate we have used is 34.5%, having an effective tax rate of 18% is very good and clearly benefiting from the CGT discount of 50%. Now, looking at VAS, before we do that, if you're finding this video helpful, please do me a favor in pressing the like button and consider subscribing for more videos like this. It really helps me to make more videos and supports my channel. Thank you. Now, looking at VAS, the total return for this period is much lower at $9,733, while the total tax paid on the dividends for the past 10 years and capital gains tax on the sale is only $1,168. If we again divide the total tax of $1,168 by the return of $9,733, the effective tax rate is only 12%. This result for VAS is again because of the franking credits having reduced the tax payable to almost nil, while the capital gains tax was low simply because the capital gain was low. So VAS was more tax efficient as a percent, but with IVV you would have paid more tax, but made a higher return in cash overall. So does tax efficiency really matter if a less tax efficient investment outperforms? That's a question for you to think about when you're deciding what to invest in. The key takeaways for tax efficient investing is 1. Foreign dividends or distributions from global investments are not tax efficient as a strategy, as there are no franking credits to reduce your annual tax bill. So this type of income is taxed at your top marginal tax rate, and you'll get a tax bill when you lodge your tax return. 2. Franked dividends paid by Australian shares and ETF are tax efficient as the franking credits can be used to offset any Australian tax payable. However, if you are on a marginal tax bracket of more than 30%, you will need to pay extra tax to cover the difference in tax rate. As the average Australian salary is less than $130,000, the 34.5% tax rate will not apply for some time. Instead, a lower tax rate will apply that is less than the 30% tax rate paid by companies who pay franked dividends. This will mean many Australians that receive franked dividends will either pay no extra tax or will receive a refund of franking credits in cash. If you have other tax to pay, the franking credits will be used to pay this tax first before you receive a tax refund in cash. Either way, franking credits are very tax efficient. 3. Investing in high growth investments usually means you receive lower to no dividends or distributions, meaning you have lower annual tax bills from your investments. This is important to note while you're working and earning a salary or wage that is growing, as any dividends or distributions are taxed at your top marginal tax rate. This is important for taxpayers that earn more than $130,000 in salary annually. 4. The capital gains tax you pay when you sell your investment can be reduced by 50% if you simply wait 12 months and are an Australian tax resident. This is because the Australian tax rules has a rule called the 50% CGT discount that applies only to Australian tax residents who own investments for longer than 12 months. This makes long-term investing very tax efficient. 5. Capital gains tax will apply to all capital gains, which is a tax paid as a one lump sum in the year that you sold the investment. This means that capital gains tax can be deferred for many years when you don't sell the investment. The longer you defer selling your investment, the more your investment returns compound. Also, if you invest in shares or units, you don't need to sell the entire investment when you need to convert capital gains into cash to live off. This is because shares and units can be sold in smaller parcels, while you let the rest of the shares stay invested to earn more returns. In contrast, if you own direct real estate, you must sell all of the property and pay capital gains instead on the total capital gain. This is important for long-term tax efficiency if you intend on living off the capital gains of your investments instead of the income it distributes annually. Deferring capital gains into the future means you could pay lower capital gains tax at a lower marginal tax rate, especially if you wait for when you are on a lower marginal tax bracket, such as when you stop working and you are not earning a salary or wage. You may find one of these videos on your screen helpful to watch next. Thanks for watching. See you next time.